All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. So today we're going to talk about a couple of shoes that have been catching my eye. Some stuff maybe you should look into before the holidays hit in about a month and a half. The red cement Jordan 4. Do I think these are going to go up or not? Looking at grade school is roughly 150, 140 on StockX. I've seen a decent amount of sales volume, seeing there being almost 4,000 sales. And we all know with Jordan 4s in grade school for the last about 4 years, they pretty much have gone up in price. Seeing these red cement 4s in grade school being at about 140, 150, I have a hard time seeing them not hitting 200. I know this economy is obviously a lot slower. You know, a lot of people might think they're probably going to be stagnant at around 150. I think with holidays around the corner, they're probably going to hit that $200 mark, just as we've seen with almost every single grade school Jordan 4 in a size 5.5 to size 7. So me personally, I think these red cement 4s in grade school are going to have a slight rise in price. Men's is pretty much at about 200 to 220. Do I think these are going to go significantly up in price? To be quite honest with you, I think over time they're probably going to hit 300. Do I think that's going to be anytime soon? Probably not. I think right around the holidays they'll probably have about a $270 rise in price from 220, 200. But do I think this is a shoe you should go out and start buying? Probably not. I think that you're going to get a higher return on investment with the grade school red cements. Just buying a couple of pairs in the size 5.5 to size 7 will probably go further than buying men's pairs, in my opinion. Another shoe that caught my eye is the UNC Toe Jordan 1. Man, if this was 2020, this shoe would be honestly a $300, $350 shoe. Unfortunately, it's not 2020. We're not getting those stimulus checks. People aren't cashing out on Jordans as they once were. But I think that just because of this colorway, I think over time, it's probably going to have a decent rise in price. Not a significant rise in price, but I have seen these sell a lot in different stores. Men's, I've pretty much seen sell for over 380, and if we go on StockX, you know, they're at about 190. So I think over the long period, they're probably going to hit about 250. Although I wouldn't say, to be honest with you, you should start buying a bunch of men's. I think that grade school, again, probably has a better return on investment. Obviously, they're selling less grade school pairs, but the buy-in is a lot less. The buy-in for a size 5.5 to size 7 is about 130. I'd say locally, you can probably get them for like closer to 120 locally as well. And I think that a shoe like this should have no issue going up to about 180. But again, it's more of like a holiday shoe. That's why I personally see that. I think closer to holidays, a lot of people are going to start buying them up and buying them up. And if Nike doesn't restock them, if we look at there being less supply and more demand, I think these UNC toes have potential to have a decent rise in price. And even if they don't, I've seen them sell time and time again in different stores for way over StockX. So my personal opinion, I still think there is demand for this shoe. If we go to a somewhat unconventional shoe, the Nike Dunk Born and Raised SBs, I actually had someone reach out to me before they released, like the day before they released, and asked if they're going to go up or down in price. My answer to that was a Nike Dunk like this that was already priced at about 500, probably going to be stagnant at that price. If we look at all sizes, they all pretty much go for about $500, $600. And do I think this is a shoe that's going to go up to 1,000? Probably not. I really don't think so. In this economy, I don't see it being a shoe that goes up in price significantly. I think if you want to get your hands on it, it's probably going to be a stagnant shoe, which is also interesting because we've seen the Nike Dunk Doritos go up in price. Those are at about 350. Now, if we go on StockX, they're nearing 500, which is pretty impressive in my opinion. But I think the reason for that jump in price is because they didn't start at 500. If they started at that $500-$600 plus mark, do I think they would have had that $100-$150 rise? Probably not. So I think when you're looking at Nike Dunks or any SBs, you don't really want to do the buy-in when they're at that $550-$600 range. They're kind of already overpriced at that point. Moving forward, the Palomino Jordan 1s, I have no idea if I said that the right way, but it's interesting. I did see on Twitter when these released, people are like, oh, I'm holding these. These are a money colorway. I think they're going to go up in price. And my opinion on them is do not hold these. Although they have that bread colorway, bread color scheme, it's not a shoe you want to hold. A shoe like this is going to stay stagnant at about that $200, $190 range. And for grade school as well, I think if you have pairs of these, they're probably not going to go up in price. I think that over a long period of time, they might hit like 270 or 280. But aside from that, I don't see them going up any higher than that. And if we compare the Palomino to the UNC Toe Jordan 1 side by side. A question I always like to ask myself is which one is more wearable? Which one do I see other people wearing more, or which ones do I even see myself wearing? And for those two comparing, I see the UNC Toe being a more wearable shoe, which in my opinion is also why I think they're probably gonna have a rise in price. Again, like a smaller rise in price. Another thing is also they've been selling significantly more at different stores that I work with. So that's another reason why I think, UNC Toe is probably one of the better Jordan 1 investments. This is one probably a lot of you guys don't really care too much about, but the Playoff Jordan 8. A lot of people have been buying these for some reason. I have no idea why. And I've had a few people actually DM me surprisingly saying if they should hold them. And if you just look at the shoe itself, this is absolutely not a shoe that you want to hold. It's an ugly colorway, it's an ugly style, and I think the amount of people that are probably going to wear Jordan 8 is the smallest amount of people. I don't think that many people will. And so even if we look at pricing right now being about 200 or 220, and they're selling a lot on StockX, I think once that kind of wave goes away and the people who get their pairs get them, there won't be that much demand. There's just going to be a bunch of supply, and they're going to probably have a pretty big drop in price. So that's my opinion on the Playoff 8s. One thing I kind of want to recap from my last hold or sell video is I mentioned the Thunder 4s in grade school are going to go up, which they did. And I also mentioned the white cement 3s are going to go up in price in grade school and men's, and they also did. I kind of wanted to recap and let you guys know, I think, why they went up in price. First of all, it's a wearable shoe. Another thing is that they were both good colorways. As we know, Jordan 4s usually always bound to go up, and I think Jordan 3s as well, kind of getting into that wave right now of slowly going up in price, with most Jordan 3s, especially being an OG colorway, being a white cement 3. That's also another reason why they went up. But another thing that's been pretty useful to me is that I have a pretty good grasp on like what most stores in America are selling. I'm talking about resale shops. And at that time when I mentioned to you guys that they're selling a lot of white cement 3s for like 300, 350, which was above market at the time, it made me think, if they're selling a lot of these pairs for this price right now, and they're on StockX for like grade school was like 150, men's was like 250. And in my head, I was like, if they're selling them already for like 300 to 350, over time, they're going to go up in price. And they were consistently selling them. And I kind of had that same logic with grade school Thunder 4s. It was like they kept selling them at a really, really high price. They were selling them for like 300 in stores. And I was just like, this shoe is a lot lower than 300 on StockX. So they're bound to have some sort of rise in price. And that's what I see in the UNC Toes right now. That's pretty much what I see in the red cement 4s in grade school and in men's right now. They're selling them for like 450 when the shoe is going for retail on StockX. So it just makes me kind of look at it like, once there's less pairs on the market and obviously more demand closer to Christmas, they should have some rise in price. That's pretty much that for today's video. A lot of people have been reaching out to me talking about how they're struggling, I guess, reselling with this economic downturn. One thing I really want to stress is be patient. There's cycles for everything. A lot of people in reselling had a great for probably over 10 years now. And this is the first time a lot of new resellers have seen that a lot of pairs have went down in price. Pairs aren't selling as quick and so forth. And my biggest thing is just be patient. I think right now we're going to see a lot of the new resellers that came in the last couple of years are probably going to leave, and the ones that do stay are going to make a lot if you just stay patient. And I think it's also all about adaptability. If you're able to adapt in these times, you're going to be doing this for a while, and I think that you're going to be pretty successful at it in the long term. Like I mentioned to you guys before, like I've been doing reselling for a while, and so I feel like everyone that is having slower sales, just adapt. I think that the biggest thing is adapting. The same methods that worked 2-3 years ago aren't going to work today. So change up what you do. Something that's been working great for me is obviously consignment. I'm not going to mention much on that. But for you, it might be going to outlets and getting pairs on massive discounts and then selling them, or going out, buying pairs, selling them on Amazon, or selling them on eBay, or selling them on a bunch of different platforms, or going out and buying used pairs and selling them for $100 margins, which is something I did when I first started as well. So something I want to stress is, like, if you want to continue reselling for a while, I think right now is the time where it's going to show who's going to stay and who's not going to stay, and who's in it for the short term and who's in it for the long term. So thank you for watching till the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up. For staying till the end of the video, I'm gonna be giving 3 copies of my book away. You don't have to do anything, just first 3 people that DM me on Instagram to claim their book will receive their book. First 3 people, again, thanks for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys for the next one.